All right, what's going on, Colton?
So today we're going to go over to Mike Shields where my heifer is. We're going to AI her, so that's artificial inseminate Shields, so she'll have a baby.
Yay!
It's going to be so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to go over and meet Charlie Tobias, and he's going to walk us through how the process is going to work, and we're going to
get it done.
yeah.
So who's Charlie Tobias?
Charlie Tobias is our family vet.
Yeah. So he comes out a lot, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, and he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so he floats our horses' mouths and...
Float their mouths?
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
So that's when they have teeth that grow too tall and it's hard for them to eat, or they get too sharp. So then you get in there with a little file, you file down their teeth so then they can chew properly again.
Wow, cool. Man, vets are people of many talents.
Yeah.
That's awesome, cool. Well, viewers online, we're going to take you on over to Mike Shields' property. We're going to introduce you to Charlie, and then we're going to teach you some stuff about AI and a cow.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to artificially inseminate this heifer. And so we have synchronized her with some hormones so that we can do this on a timed basis. And so since we don't know exactly when she would come in naturally on her own, we have an individual animal here. We set them up on a synchronization program so that then once we give them their final injection, we know that we're going to be breeding them about 56 hours later, and that's for the optimum results. So what we have here is a liquid nitrogen tank, and liquid nitrogen at a liquid, this is basically like a big thermos, a double-walled thermos, so it keeps the nitrogen in a liquid phase. Nitrogen is always expanding, so there's always a little bit of it being vented out, and so there is a vent on these tanks so that they essentially don't explode, but we keep them in that nitrogen. So that since the nitrogen is always evaporating a little bit at a time, we have to recharge these tanks. In other words, we have to pour more liquid nitrogen in there on a periodic basis. And we do that based on the longevity of the tank. Some of these tanks might be rated for 3 months or 4 months, and that is basically the rating of how long the nitrogen would stay in there undisturbed. So if you're going in and out of your tanks more often to pull out semen or embryos to place in cows, then you may need to recharge the nitrogen in there at a more frequent basis. So basically it's like a big thermos. They have a big stopper here, and you can see here we have a white line, that's the frost line, so we know we've got plenty of nitrogen in there to keep everything cold. There's 6 different holders here that contain a variety of semen. We keep those down in the straws of the semen are actually down in each of those canes. The canes are kept in the cane holder, and so whoever's tanked it would have this. They'd keep a list of which semen is in which cane in which cane holder, and that way you can go in and pull out just exactly what you need. So you have to keep it pretty well organized. We try to keep that lid in there when we're not doing anything. So what we're going to do first is go ahead and bring this heifer up and get her ready. Once we get her up into the alleyway here, then we'll go ahead and pull out that straw semen. We have warmed water that we thawed in. Once we thaw it, then we're going to put it into a sheath to protect it and keep it clean as we do the insemination. We'll load that straw and the sheath into our AI gun. The AI gun is essentially a hollow rod with a plunger. And so we put that rod up into the sheath, and the straw semen is loaded. The plunger would remain back, and then once we go into the cow, place it through the cervix, then when we push that plunger, that deposits the semen into the uterus. So we'll go ahead and let's bring that cow up, heifer up, and we'll
All right, cool. Let's do it. Okay. All right, we got it halfway there, so let's go back this way.
You want me to go open up the...
I think, yeah, Michelle, you want to go swing? Yeah, because we got her in here so far. So we just need you to swing the, up. Here. Put it here. Is it a little too?
A little
If you
different.
get through this, you'll be good. Yeah, then you're good up there. Yeah. And then if you want to.
It's a little squishy.
That's why we were in muck boots. Oh,
Whoops.
Ashley wanted mud management.
Well,
Mud management, muck boots. That's how we manage the mud. Hey, Michelle. Oh no, we need the door swung open if you could, please. Not that one. Around the corner. Walk on the catwalk. Let's see you. Catwalk. Come on. Strut that stuff. And push that. Yeah, push towards me on that handle. And then swing the door all the way open. Ooh, keep going. Yeah, we need this all the way open. Because then we're gonna bring her into here. All right, cool. There we go. Yep. There you go.
nice.
Good, buddy. And we don't have her. Watch it, Grace. Watch it. Poop's flying. Poop's flying. All right, here we go. Come on.
Gotta love the cows. They were very close last time.
Well, you're gonna get the door.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want the halter?
Well, I did just sleep on this too, didn't I?
You want to borrow mine? I think they're too small for you, but it might be.
Come on. Get ready for the door. Get ready. Get ready, Colton. Go, 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 go. Yeah, there we go.
Woo!
So if you want to jump up here, Grace.
Yeah, let me get on the catwalk.
Okay. Let her maybe get in front of you. Okay.
All right, cool. Okay. Hey, Michelle, what is this called?
A shoot system?
Who designed this really cool thing, though?
Oh, the really great movie that I was telling you about.
Yeah, Temple Grandin, right?
Temple Grandin.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you
so
much.
cool.
How do I forget these things? Yes, Temple Grandin.
I'm coming.
Powder River, right?
We were talking about the shoot system.
No, oh, I thought she asked what brand it was. Powder River.
No.
If you want to come up and...
Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
So we're gonna go ahead and pull our semen out now to thaw. And it's in cane number 1.
So why do you need to freeze the semen?
Preserve it.
Okay.
How long can it last if it's preserved?
So we're gonna put this into a straw warmer. That water is already at a preset temperature for thawing, and we're gonna let it sit in there for about 30 seconds. Kind of a minimum of 30 seconds. It can stay in there longer than that. And then once it's thawed out, we're gonna pull it out, dry the straw off so that it's completely dry, because we don't want any water contaminating anything that we're going to put into the heifer. Okay, you can see I've got my gun inside my coveralls here, so that's keeping it basically close to body temperature so it's warm. One thing we don't want to do is heat shock to any of the sperm. We freeze the semen because then we can have it here available anytime we want. So you can be breeding your heifer to, you know, maybe a really well-bred bull that you couldn't afford to buy the bull, but you can afford to buy the semen out of him. And so that's why they've developed the techniques for freezing the semen so that they can sell it to many more people as opposed to just selling the bull to one person.
Cool.
So at this point, we'll pull our straw out. We're going to try to minimize, again, contacting it with our fingertips. We're going to keep it wrapped up in that towel. And this is what we call a straw cutter. It's got a little blade in there. It fits over the end of that straw and cuts the end off. I'm going to put a protective sheath over that, so we slide the straw right into that sheath and slide it up in there. And then we'll pull our plunger back and slide the gun into the sheath but over the straw. So now the straw is actually inside the gun and the sheath goes on the outside of the gun. And the end of the sheath has a little split in it down here, so we can snug it on there really tight and then put that little donut hole ring over it. And what that does is that keeps the sheath from sliding off. And we wrap our tip to keep it warm and protect it. And then we put it back into a warm area until we're ready to put it into the cow. So at this point we can go ahead and put the cow into the squeeze.
I don't know how to
All right.
listen to it.
Let's make sure.
You make sure the head.
Make sure the header.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
When I pulled the plug, I let it go.
So open all over here. Yep.
And
So-
then you have to pull on that side.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pull that out, Colton.
You got it, Cole? Yeah.
Get up there, pull it down.
You can pull it. There you go. You got it? All your body weight. There you go. Michelle might need to encourage her to go. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let go.
Good job, Colt.
It doesn't open anymore, right? She just got to put her head through.
You just,
I can get her to put it.
She figured this thing out.
No, she just. Excuse me.
Hi, pretty girl. You want to put
This
your
is-
head in now?
Is this a problem with all ferret cows? They're like too friendly.
yeah, the gentle ones.
The gentle ones, they just sit here and. Maybe I shouldn't stand there. Maybe that's part of the problem. Come on. Pull down on that bolt. You can squeeze her a little bit. Right here. Yep, Maddie, watch your head. Yeah.
Like that?
What is it, Charlie?
It's a
Is that
cow
fair?
hug.
Yeah, that's fine.
What is it?
So go ahead and open the back gate.
The back gate, Colt.
Oh, right.
So when we artificially inseminate cattle, what we do is we actually go in rectally and we're able to reach through the rectal wall and grab the cervix, and that's how we manipulate it. So I'll have somebody pull the tail to the side.
Get in there. Yep.
And what we're gonna do
Oh boy. Dirty jobs.
is, yeah, she's just a little bit
What's that?
nervous.
Stress poop.
Yeah, she's a little nervous. Yeah. Let us know if we can hand you anything.
Yeah. Or take anything.
Okay, so now I slid the gun and the pipette up into the vagina. With my left hand, I'm manipulating the cervix so that I can get the end of the pipette gun to the opening of the cervix. And once we get it all the way through the cervix into the uterus, then I push with my thumb, and that plunger pushes the semen into the uterus, and we slide back out.
Wow.
Boy. Yeah, you're having a baby.
Well,
No,
No.
not even close.
hopefully.
Right.
So that completes that. And then what I always do, just as a rule, is when I'm all done, I always make sure my donut stays on my gun, so I don't lose that. So I'll need that the next time. But then I always read each one of these straws has the bull's name and where it was processed and the date and all that sort of thing. So I always read on there. You may not be able to see it in this light, but
Oh yeah,
we
no, I can see
confirm
it.
that we have the
Oh, cool.
right bull. That we
Yeah.
it's a little bit late if we don't.
Right. Oh boy.
So how long is it going to take her to have the calf?
Assuming she actually gets pregnant this
Right. So why is it
So
assuming what could
The
go wrong?
gestation of a cow, a pregnancy of a cow, is approximately 280 days.
Okay.
That can vary a little bit with different breeds, but pretty much you're looking at 279 to 280 days, which is just over 9 months. So 30 days, 30 times 9 is 270. So it's just a little over 9 months for a cow. And so hopefully, if we ultrasound her, we can probably know in about 30 days or so if she did take to this pregnancy. One of the other ways is if you turn her out with other cattle and watch her in 3 weeks. If she's not pregnant, she ought to be cycling back in and coming back into heat. And she would show signs of estrus at that point. One other thing we'll do is we're going to give her one more shot, which helps ensure that she's going to ovulate, which means releasing the egg from the ovary. The eggs are built up on the ovaries. Those are called follicles. When that follicle gets large enough, it ruptures and releases the egg. The egg travels down the oviduct or fallopian tubes. Those are tiny little tubes that run from the ovary to the tips of the horns of the uterus. And then as the egg travels down, actually the sperm are traveling up. They're already working their way up now. And they're going to travel up the horns and hopefully fertilize that egg. Once one of the sperm hits the egg, then it starts to become an embryo, and that blastomere will travel on down and then implant into the horn of the uterus about 14 to 16 days, I believe.
Right.
Okay, Colt.
Awesome. Thank
All
you.
set there.
Alright.
Yay.
There you go. Alright, so we'll unsqueeze it first. So we'll unsqueeze it.
Release it right there.
Squeeze. We can close the back so she doesn't. Now you know how to do the front?
Oh yeah, you lift up on
Yep.
this and then
And pull there, yep. And then pull back on it. Yep. There you go, man. Alright.
So now it's ready for the next cow, right?
Yeah. Well, not technically.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
wanted to, that's
like that.
now that it's in.
Right.
So
it's
when
a
we were
bigger cow.
here the other day, it was like this. So we got shields in, and then she just boom ran right there, and she was out. Like, oh yeah, we need to have inverted. Yeah. Cool.
We gave her a copper.
The reasons we would use AI or artificial insemination cattle, there's a number of different reasons in a situation like this where we've got one animal to breed, and it's not cost effective to go out and buy a bull just to breed one heifer, one cow, and then have them both sitting around for the year. Typically, if you turned a bull out with a group of cows on a ranch, you'd probably figure one bull per about 20 cows as far as breeding through the breeding season. So if you only have one or two animals, that's where artificial insemination may play a role, or you don't have access to a bull. Certainly one of the best reasons that we would use AI would be to use better quality breeding stock than you could afford even. So this way you can go buy some of the best semen in the world from the best bulls in the world and use it on your one animal, and hopefully that's much better than if you had to go out and buy a bull for what you could afford. Not only that, it's really not cost effective to go spend the money to buy a bull just for 1 or 2 cows. That starts not really being too practical, and then you've got a bull sitting around without any work to do for the rest of the year. So those are probably the 2 main reasons we use artificial insemination. Is number 1, if you don't have access to a bull, or number 2, basically to improve the genetics of your breeding, or buy a better quality sire for your cows that you want to breed to.
Or number 3, you don't have fencing to keep the bull. Well, we've learned that over the years. How many times do we have to chase Jerry down the road from the neighbors?
Yeah, so if you don't have good facilities, and maybe you have neighbors who have lots of bulls, and your bull is always fighting with them, so if you only got a few head, it makes more sense to not have a bull, and you can buy a better quality bull through the semen than you can than borrowing your neighbors who breaks down the fence.
Yay.
Oftentimes.
Sometimes you may be looking at wanting to do, even rather than doing pure seed stock, a good Angus bull on a good Angus heifer, and you might want to be doing some type of crossbreeding program, so that's another aspect of it. For example, in dairies, a lot of dairies now will use a beef bull on their dairy heifers or on their dairy cows, and essentially that way half those calves are going to be bull calves. So those bull calves are not going to go into a dairy to milk, right? They're eventually going to be fed out and made into hamburgers and steaks and roasts and that sort of thing. So if we take a good quality beef bull, which is bred and designed to have more muscle mass and better quality marbling and better tasting meat, we take that beef and cross it on a dairy cow, we can get a crossbred animal that is going to be worth more to the dairyman to sell that calf when he goes off to be fed up. So there's other aspects of that, of using the artificial insemination, of choosing the different types of sires. Or maybe, for example, maybe you have horned cattle and you want to breed that out of them. You can choose a breed like the Angus that are polled and have no horns, and that's typically more dominant, so that you can eliminate having to have a bunch of horned calves.
All right, so we're over here, we're feeding Colton's cow. This is Shields. Colton, tell us a little bit about your cow. I'm sorry, heifer. Should I call her a heifer?
She's a heifer. Yeah.
What's the difference between a cow and a heifer?
So she's a heifer right now, but once she calves, she'll become a cow.
So they're heifers until they have their first calf.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, tell us a little bit about your heifer.
Well, so my heifer, her name is Shields. She's a black Angus, and I got her from my neighbor Mike Shields. So we're actually on his property right now. This is his barn and facility.
Ooh, it's
so
very
this
nice.
is where we did the AIing, and it's really nice. I'm a little bit jealous about their whole shooting thing.
Me too.
Really
It's okay,
nice.
I get it. Cool. So we did some AI today. How long have you had Shields for?
I've had Shields now for 2 years in April.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
So, but she was pretty little when you got her, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She's grown a lot.
Yeah, she actually came over with her mother.
Oh,
So, yeah.
that's awesome. So what have you been doing with her? Have you been doing anything for 4-H with her?
Yes, so I've actually taken her to one show so far.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I took her to in a breeding class, and I didn't place very well. It was my first time.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to just try it.
It was
and
fun.
see how it
It
goes.
was really fun.
That's
so
awesome.
That's pretty much all that counts.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What exactly do you have to do with her in that class? Do you have to walk with her?
Yeah, so there's a specific course, and you're supposed to set them up in a specific way. So if they're looking at you from the left, you need to make sure that their inside legs are set back a little bit, and their outside legs are actually, it's just with the back feet. Outside leg forward, inside leg back, front leg square.
She's a really big animal to get her feet into place.
Yeah.
Wow,
So you
okay.
have a little stick that helps guide their feet.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But you can lead her around on a halter and everything?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So you flip the halter on there and then pull them up. It's kind of like with showing horses. It's basically the same concept. You hold their head up and walk with them.
Ooh, very fancy. So we just AI'd her, so we just impregnated her, which is super duper exciting. Was there any particular reason why you wanted to do that, or just wanted a calf at the ranch?
Yeah, I would want a calf for the ranch, especially for the petting zoo. So if you come out to the ranch, you get to be with a baby calf.
That's pretty cool.
I thought that would be pretty awesome.
Yes.
And I am going to show her
Oh,
at
cool.
the fair. I might do a cow-calf pair. I might show them as a pair.
Oh, so you show them together?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Double the fun. That's intense and super cool. So it's going to take about 9 months for her to have the calf.
Yep.
We're going to take her back to our property, though, pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't actually exactly know. We might do it in the next couple of days.
Okay. That's awesome. She is a beautiful cow. Do you know how much she... beautiful heifer. Beautiful heifer. Do you know how much she weighs? A lot.
A lot, yeah. I actually haven't weighed her pretty recently. I'm gonna have to take him back over here to the scale. I don't have a scale that can
Gotcha.
sustain her body weight.
Yeah. So we know she's heavy.
She is heavy. I think
She's
she's
very...
probably over 1,000 pounds.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. That is so cool, though.
Yeah.
Wow. Heifers. They're pretty awesome. She is very pretty. Hi, buddy. And she's pretty friendly, too, right?
She is friendly, yeah. We started halter breaking her when she was very young. So just being around her, putting the halter on her, that's always really great when they're young, just to start out with that. Yeah.
That's awesome. So we had our vet, Dr. Charlie Tobias, come out to impregnate her to do the AI, and that was super awesome. Colton got to help with that, which was really sweet. And then we'll know in about 30 days whether or not she's pregnant.
Yeah, 30 days. That's if she's around other cows. So, I don't know. There's probably another way to figure out.
I think you said we could ultrasound her
Yeah.
if we want to. Yeah.
Okay, we should.
Yeah.
We'll have to have him come out and do that again.
Yes. Well, we'll keep all of you guys online updated as we see if we have a calf, which would be really exciting. Yay. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing your heifer with us, Colton.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Woo!